Welcome to day 26. Attachment. So this is a talk to the ego. And we've all gone on a journey. And this is really taking us to a deeper level. Expansion of the mind. More awareness. And on this journey now, we've been cutting through all the noise, all the different layers, all the chaos, to bring it to the truth, which is our feelings. This journey is daily. Every day we get to show up as ourself, which equals life. And life isn't plain sailing. It always keeps us on our toes. Yet we have to bring awareness. To settle leaves us open for resistance, because change is the only guarantee that we can have here. Life continues to change. It's a universal law. We, as a collective, have gone through this life, and because we have been taught this way, is to continuously try to change the external world to fit our narrative. And as you've seen over the last few months, by doing that, you're constantly fighting against the truth. We're constantly seeking outside of ourselves. We're relying on other information from others. And it's confusing. And if we look at all the chaos, all the thunderstorm, we get right in the middle. And we become the observer, to witness. And imagine all of that stuff, there's attachment, we're just cutting a strap. And we're just watching it all circulate around us. Yet we're now here as the pure divine self. As we're here in this moment present, we get the gift to choose. To choose our presence, to take in what we need at this time, and then being able to let that go, and then let whatever comes flow our way. So we're going to go through attachment and having a look at the things that the ego gets involved with all the time. And it's our reliance on other things outside of ourselves to make us happy. We need people in our life to make us happy. We need material things to make us happy. Holidays, cars. All these things are external outside of ourselves. And if we're needing that to make us happy, then we're always setting ourselves up for that challenge. So let's start with people in our lives. We need people to make us happy. Do we feel happy when we're around people? Yes, of course. Remember, we're stripping it right back to the truth. And things change in our life. And many of us on this journey have experienced different relationships change along the way. And it's that holding on because we've known them for so long. Because it's always been this way. That's just the way that we do things, it's tradition. And if we keep holding on to that, the resistance builds up inside us. There's a frustration, there's a denial. We're holding on. And if you think about what are we holding on to? Fear, uncomfort, dis-ease. So attachment to people. And you can say that these people do bring me joy. I love spending time with you, but I do not depend on you. And I'd like you to think about people that you have held on to. And they do, in your mind, make things difficult. But those feelings, that difficulty still lies within you. Imagine being able to go up to them and say, I do not need you in my life to be happy. And the great way to do that is without the words. Stand there in that moment, because it's still energy, and say it from the heart. I do not need you in my life to be happy. And that may be hard, but let's go back when we're a kid. Let's go back to our past. Go back to a time where you have been heartbroken. You have been left distraught. You have been left saying, oh, I'm never going to be happy. And in those moments, yeah, it felt hard, but as time went on, look where it is now. It becomes a distant memory. Some of those thoughts still attached to those feelings, which we can deal with. Awareness. But look how life has changed. How many times have you smiled since those moments? How many times have you laughed since those moments? How many new connections have you met since those moments? Go back as a kid. You've lost a toy. You've lost a belonging, something close to you, and it's been terrible. It's ruined your life. Things are never going to be the same. Fast forward, we move on. So attachments to the stories of what we're holding on to, because it's supposed to be a certain way to those stories. You stay with your groups of friends your whole life. That's what my mum and dad did. That's what their parents did. And they're your friends. Are we holding on because of that? And in that holding on, we feel that uncomfort inside us. The reluctance to go to certain things, that fight. Do I need to be here? And we go for the sake of going, because we don't want to upset other people. We don't want to be challenged. We don't want to feel lonely. And we continue to get into those cycles. Let's now, and it's challenging, but it's important, to always go within. Always ask yourself, what do I want? Being okay to make that choice and to stand on it. Because we can have love for all things, because we are love. And it's only attachment to the story, to the perception, that changes our reality. So if we can bring everything to this moment now, the feelings are always now. And it's something that I've had to work at too. There's people in my life that I've chosen not to engage with now, and sometimes they pop back in. And straight away my ego goes off, no, I'm still not talking to them. And I'm forgetting and not bringing awareness to that they may have changed too. They may be going on their journey with awareness now. And all it takes is a day to change. Some event, and people just need a helping hand, guidance. And it's our attachment to the past moments, yet have we spoken about them? Because we've held on to them so long, we've ran it past ourselves many times. What is it that we want to be able to say? What do we need to get off our chest? And if I was to give you a question, what would allow them to come back into your life? What would it take? And remember, coming back into your life, let go of the comparison to how they were in your life before, where they saw you every day, where you went round theirs at the weekends. Let go of all that. They've reached out to you. Can we just show up being civil? With a reply, with a thank you. And always being aware of the energy. We're about to go through the next phase of this transition, where discernment is key. And it's our attachment, it's only going to be the things holding us down. Imagine it as baggage. How many things have you been holding on to? Trying to process, trying to understand. It's a constant battle which weighs us down all the time. So if we use that analogy again, being on the deathbed, being told that you're dying, which is a myth, and you now need to make choices for you, can you bring awareness to the things that you know that you're still holding on to? That if you had it your own way, things would change. If you got out of the circumstances, what are those things you're holding on to? So bring awareness to that and use it as energy. Imagine you're wearing that energy as clothes. You got weighted vests on top of you. Imagine you got shopping luggages. You're dragging everything along. What will be the first thing you let go? Don't worry about the outcome. Forget about the consequences. What would that be? To let go. We have attachment to the personal aspects in our life. The sporting teams that we support. Religion. Spiritual beliefs. Our teachers. If we hold on to that teacher is always right, that is my football team and I'm only happy when they win. And when they don't and we feel our emotions go, attachment. When things get said and it challenges our beliefs, it rocks us to the core. Do we react with anger, with frustration, with fear, with denial? And it's catching those reactions now. This is the key part, awareness. It's awareness which is the key. And it's the programming which is the attachment. It's like now we have to go through our past and just shine the light on anything that is holding us back. The programming is so deep from when we come into this world. The people that brought us up in this world, our mums and dads, our family, our friends, and they tell you certain ways to behave, certain traditions, certain ways that we do things, and we've just taken that on. Programming. Then as we get older, we go and learn. We be educated. We go to work. We learn from TV programs. And then something else comes up in our reality, and then all of a sudden, everything that we've been told is now being questioned. It can't be, because I've seen it all with my own eyes. I've been there. Perception. So as we're going on this journey now, this is going to be key. It's to catch ourselves in these moments, to really become aware of those feelings. And I'm going to encourage now, write them down. Because we're quite easy to, we'll let that go. I'll be okay. I'll come back to the present moment. I'll focus on this. And it still then comes back. Still pokes you. Still shows up in a dream. Shows up in a thought. It comes up in a conversation. It pops up on that song that we're listening to. And it brings us straight back there, and it's like, oh, I'll go again. What are those things? Write them down. So are you able to go through this life to stand on your own truth? Could you do it all alone? Can you be happy on your own? What is the mind going off now? No, I need these people. We're not talking about getting rid of people. We're talking about, are you able to go through this life being happy? Happiness is the removal of all the illusions. To be able to sit there as the witness and watch everything unfold in front of us with no attachments. As I now have conversations with people, I know my truth. And I'm pretty confident with anything that then triggers me. I'm aware, I'm alert. And it's so funny now, when people are speaking, it's almost an anticipation. And when something is said, my first go-to is my reaction. Stillness, neutral. I allow them to let it all out. I just look at that as energy. If I feed into that at any point, there's attachment. And feeding in means I'm sharing that energy. So I stop myself. I'm always ahead of the game. And any sort of feeling inside my body, I pay attention now. And when I reflect back, I find it amusing. I also reflect to how I would have reacted before, especially on certain topics that meant so dear to me. Certain on things that I've learned and I've gone years and years focusing on. Fitness industry being one of them. You get taught so many things. This is the way to do it. This is how you get results. And when you put it into practice, yeah, you do. If someone comes in and all the process that you learn doesn't account for this person, and you get stuck holding on to the processes and do it a certain way, and the outcome is you don't get results, the client leaves, and you're left thinking, why is that? And there's always a blame outside. Oh, they didn't show up all the time. They did go out the weekend drinking. Their nutrition wasn't great. Attachment to the programming. Yet, as an example, I used to, towards the end, train people as individuals. Every person that come in was individuals. So it's almost like every person coming is now. And people tell you how they used to play for a football team when they were 14 years old, and they were really active when they were 15. Attachment to your old story, your old character, the way that you used to do things. It's no longer there. All you're doing is remind yourself of how good you used to feel. And you're constantly trying to chase back to that moment, which you're never going to be because you are not that person anymore. Life's completely changed too. So bring awareness to the stories that you tell. And attaching it to the I am. That's not who I am. That's what I don't normally do. Attachment. And it's freeing. The more and more you become aware, and there are certain things that do hold us down so much more. Write them down. Awareness is the light. And when we do have it in our awareness, we then get our answers as we go on our journey. The more we process and go into the meditations to ask ourselves, what is the solution? How do I show up? How do I approach this moment? Your answers always will show up for you. They'll present themselves. And when they come, the challenge is to step outside the comfort zone, to break through the illusion, to stand on the truth, to go alone. And on this journey with you, you will meet other people, similar paths, that share similar interests. And you also meet people that don't agree with you on the same things. And we live our life as attachment to people agreeing with us. And if anyone doesn't agree with us on certain topics, no, I don't like them anymore. I don't talk to them anymore. Attachment. Strip back the beliefs because that's all mine. Let's look at the person. If they're showing up from love, if they're passionate, if they're calm, are we able to ask them questions to explain more, to understand? And if you don't see eye to eye on certain things, that's fine. But as we've seen in life now, there's so many different other aspects to it. Energy is the key of all of this. Always remember, your feelings are the truth. Your mind and all the concepts, all the ideas, ego. So what are you attached to? Look at people in your life first, attached to the stories, attached to the past, attached to the beliefs. Let's look at your story. attached to the wants, the material things, people chasing. Things have to be a certain way. What are those attachments? Sit with this. Because if you ask yourself and be true to yourself, from that heart center, what am I attached to? And if nothing springs to mind, but there's a feeling there, it's something now to ask ourselves, to set that as the intention. Show me what these attachments are. And it's only the ego that will react to this, to hide us away from this, because when we deal with these as a truth, what does it create? Freedom, space, soul. Soul sets the mind, so soul's in control of the ego. That's why the ego will do everything it can to keep you holding on to the past, time. Keep you holding on to a certain way, processes, ideas, concepts. Ego really becomes our teacher on these attachments. So, what are you attached to? And if we do this in our awakened state, our mind will always get in the way. It will always try to rationalize, overanalyze. So I'm going to leave you in silence, your own stillness. And you're going to ask yourself, what am I attached to? And all I want you to do is become the observer. Notice and see what comes up for you.